Yeah. See, in Selenium, from Selenium 3.x onwards, Webdriver introduced new locators. So what are all the different locators are introduced by Selenium? seleniumhq.org, download section, Java doc. So there is a class called by, because we are using by. Using by only we are finding the element. See, we are, like by using class name, CS selector, ID, link text, partial link text. Okay. Apart from that, they introduced by all, by chained, by ID or name. So how to work with these elements? Okay. So first we'll work with by ID or name. So this is by ID or name. This is class. So how to use this by ID or name? Okay. New class, new locators. So I am writing this one. And then driver dot get. So here I am mentioning the website name is, this is active. We are launching this website. This thread dot sleep and 5000 milliseconds. This is for waiting for waiting for 5 seconds, and then driver dot close. Okay. So this is the website. Now I would like to use driver dot find element. Okay. So now the new locator is by ID or name. So if you want to use by ID or name, the element, it should contain both ID and name. Remember that point. The element, it should contain both ID and name. Inspect element, inspect element. See, it is containing name and it is containing ID also. So you can use either ID or name. Okay. So you may have doubt. See, already ID is there and name also there. Then what is the special thing? Suppose, see, whereas some of the elements you can contain, it contains only ID, or some of the elements it contain name. Suppose if if element which contains both ID and name, then you can use any one of the thing. But which one is the giving first preference while using by ID or name? Always ID taking first preference. Okay, we will see it practically. So, but how to use this syntax? Driver dot find element by, no. So here, as per the syntax, what is this? By ID or name. This is a class. So to represent this, you have to use like this. New, you have to write like this, by ID or name. Here you should mention either ID or name. Okay. So now, as per the application, I'm going to take this first name, and then send case. Let's say I'm using some prem. Okay. So first let me find out whether it is working fine or not. Now see, prem is displayed. Suppose with the name, let me check with name also. Instead of this name, definitely it will work, because either of the combination, either you can use either ID or name, but that element should contain both the things, right? So this is also working fine. But I want to see the priority is giving for first one is ID. So how to choose it? Okay, we'll do one thing. Driver dot, you know how to use implicit wait. Driver dot manage dot timeout dot implicitly wait. So let's say here I'm specifying 30 seconds. Time unit dot seconds. Okay. So now whenever it is trying to find out this element, first what it is giving is it is going to check based on the ID first. Maximum how much time it is going to check? 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, then it will look for the second option. Suppose if you don't use this implicit wait, immediately, because if ID is not there, name is working. So with the name, it is working fine. But I want to see the first preference is giving for ID. So right now I'm using with the name. So maximum it will wait for 30 seconds, and after that the second preference it will go to name. Even if name is also not working, that means if this is the wrong locator, again it will wait for 30 seconds. After that it will give no such element exception. Okay, so first let me run it. See, in the before, immediately it is displaying prem, but now it is not displaying. That means first it is giving preference for prem, sorry, ID. So it is waiting for 30 seconds, and after that the second preference goes to name. Now see, after 30 seconds are completed, now the preference going for name. Suppose this one also used wrong locator. So that means first one is it is waiting for 30 seconds for ID, and the second one is it is waiting for name 30 seconds. If both the things are not matching, then at that time you will get no such element exception. So first it is checking with ID. And after 30 seconds, again 30 seconds, it is looking for name. If both the combinations are failed, finally you will get no such element exception. So 30 plus 30, 1 minute. So still executing it. Now after completion of that, you are getting no such element exception. And see, this is the name, and here you are trying to get. Okay, so this is the way you need to use by ID or name. Okay, so if you want to use this by ID or name, that element should contain both ID and name. In that, ID is taking high priority. Okay, so by using this implicit wait, we have seen ID is the highest priority, then it goes to name. Okay, so this is about ID or name. The second one, the second one by ID or name. This is the second one is by chain. By chain. Mm. So by chain means what? With the order. I mean chain. So how to use it? So by chain. So again it is class. So here inside it you are going to use by n number of locators. So how to use it? Let's say this is element. So this is the element information. Okay. This is the element information. The parent of this input is what? Div. Okay. The parent of input is div. And again, this parent of div is what? It is under form. Okay. See, by chained means you can use element, its parent, its its parent, that means its grandparent. It's up to you. There are no limitations. There are no limitations. So it is starting from grandparent and then parent, and finally it is going to find out the element. Suppose if you are going to use these three elements by using chain, so from I'm going to start from here, from ID, and I'm going to start with this div, that means this is a parent and this is the element. And if you want, you can go its parent also, its parent of form also. See, there are no limitations. You can use n number of elements, but how it is going to work? It is going to work in the sequential. So first it's going to its parent, I mean grandparent, and again its parent, and again its element. Okay, so you can use n number of elements, but those are all in the hierarchy. Hierarchy in the sense element, parent, grandparent, grandparent, parent, like that you have to use it. So that is the meaning of chain. Okay, so we'll see. So driver dot find element but new by, because we are using by chain is a class. So here you need to use by dot. Let's say first one, how you are going to use. I am using with this id, by dot id. Here I am mentioning like this, right? So again by dot, let's say it's div. This is identified with the class by dot class, comma, here by dot. So this element, um, this element is identifying with by dot id, by dot class name. Okay, and then finally you are going to use send keys. Let's say pray. So for the time being I'm just commenting this line. So first let me run it. How the sequence it will follow. First it goes to grandparent, and after that it goes to parent, and then finally it is checking the element. Now this is correct. Suppose in the grandparent itself it is failing. Let's say here I'm using some wrong locator. So in the grandparent level itself it is failing. So it is unable to go to parent and its level. Uh, so you are getting no such element exception by idea. Let's say suppose there are no restrictions. Suppose I removed this grandparent. I removed this grandparent. So now I'm working with parent and its element. Now it is working fine. Suppose if there is wrong locator in the class name. So here itself it is going to fail. So can I use only the single locator? Let me check. Yeah, it's working fine. But in the documentation, what it is mentioning is, so you can have see mechanism used to locate the element within document using a series of other lookups. The class will find all the DOM elements that matches each of the locator in the sequence order. So if you are going to use by chain, you can have like sequence like parent, grandparent, and the element like this. The order it is trying to find out in the sequence, and after that it is going to perform the operation. So we'll find all elements matched by byte 2 and appear under an element that matches by 1. Okay. So suppose using by chain, you can also use only direct element. So if you are going to use direct element, then there is no need to use this chain. If you want to use chain, then there is some specific purpose, like some sequence of elements like grandparent, parent, and element like this. Then there is a meaning of this statement. So by chain. Okay. There is another locator called by all. There is another locator called by all. So here you can use again different kind of elements. You can use different kind of element. So mechanism is used to locate the element within document a series of lookups. This class will find all DOM elements that matches any of the locator in sequence. Okay. Now we'll take the same thing. So how it is going to work? So instead of by chain, it is like by all. The same. Previously, how you found the elements the same way. Let's say right. So for yeah, see this is I can use like this by ID by ID. Next the div class. Okay. that you can use it. By dot class name, that is also you can use it. Right. So how it is going to work? See, in the chained, how it is working, because it is going in sequence order. So here also it is sequencing, but let me use some wrong locator here. Let me try to find out. Element not interactable exception by keyboard. By all, one to class name, and here by ID, and then they are using it. So by all also, let me element not interactable exception you are getting. Div class form free is not reachable keyboard. So actually here it is okay, but if you want to go to this part, second one, this should be successful. So because of that it is unable to find out the element under. So what you can do is, free from trial. Now let me check. What happened is not a keyboard. It should, what happened? See, this is the element. Its parent is, class is this one. By dot class name. You can mention by all. and this one is okay. Then use by.id. Yeah, it should work. Why it is giving element not interactable exception? Yeah, see, actually, okay, this is not chained. So how to use it is, how to use these elements is, so you can find out this element information by using either id. So this name you can use either by name, which one, yeah, name. So here you can use either xpath. How to write xpath input, because at the rate id is equal to this one. So only this element, whatever the element you are trying to find out, so by all you can write all the combinations for that element. So previously what we did is, that is chain means it is a traversing from, it's a sequence, like I mean by grandparent, parent, element, like this. But here when you try to use by all, so for that element you can use all the combinations. You can use either id or name or xpath or css or whatever it is. So any one of the combination, if it is correct, then it will work. If any one of the combination, if it is work, then it will work. See, first let me run the program. Now see, it's working. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me make this as wrong locator id. So either name or xpath, if any one of the thing is correct, then it will work. So that's why previously, since it is like, I mean, we are not hitting the element, that's why you are getting element not interactable exception. Now, so id is not correct, so name is correct. So let us make this one also wrong. Now see, the xpath is also correct. So because now the xpath is correct, so though the id and name, they both are not working, So with the XPath it is working fine. So by all means, whatever the element you are trying to find out, for that element you can use all the combinations. If any one of the combination is correct, then you can, I mean, it is going to interact with the element. Let's say if I put like, I mean, implicit weight, so what will happen? First it is going to find out this element with this locator maximum 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, again it is looking for that element with the first name 346 maximum 30 seconds. After 1 minute, if the XPath is correct, then okay. So like that you can use all the combinations. That is the meaning of by all. So by ID or name means you, that element should contain both ID and name. So ID is the highest priority it will take. If ID is not there, internally it will check name, and if it is working, if it is able to identify it with the name, then it is going to perform the action. Okay. What about like by chain? By chain means whatever the element you are trying to find out, you can find out the element from its parent or its grandparent or from its grandparent. So the element it is trying to find out with the sequence order, like one by one. When it comes to like by all, so whatever the element you are trying to find out, you can use all the combinations like ID or name or XPath or link text or CSS selector or anything. So here, if any one of the thing is matching, then it is going to work. Okay. So that is about by all. That is about by all. So these are all the new locators are introduced from 3.x onwards. Okay. Thank you.